Here's Kyrie this series. Game 3, he had 35 points. Every other game, he had 16 points in his field goal percentage, under 40 in the other game. So this sounds harsh, so I'm changing it. The official, what we're putting on the bar is Kyrie, the reason the Mavs lost. I felt awkward even asking that, to be 100%.
So what are you changing it to?
I was going to say, were you disappointed in Kyrie's performance?
Well, look.
Why do we have the meetings?
I don't know. Honestly, you guys should sleep in. I should.
Well, my answer was going to be, I'm not blaming the entire loss on Kyrie. I do think
Blame Pie.
Boston was better. Oh, blame Pie. He's got the larger slice.
There you go. Then he's the biggest reason.
He was the most disappointing Kyrie. I think Boston was better. Now looking at, obviously, the way the game's played out. But he was definitely the most disappointing Mav. You're not going to put that on the role players. Luka was good. Kyrie just was not himself. And I'm going to tell you, I was stunned that the Boston crowd got to him the way they did.
Can we show the home road splits?
You see the difference between playing in Dallas and playing in Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, he's great at home. And the road, I mean, 34%. 17% from 3, 14 points a game for Kyrie Irving. That stunned me. Look, and the difference, it was the crowd. It was the setting. It was the atmosphere. You're facing the same defense. You're facing the same players, but you can't get it done at home. And Kyrie is 32 years old. Kyrie is a thoughtful guy. Kyrie had hit one of the biggest shots ever in the Oracle Arena in Golden State, which was, their crowd was crazy.
Yeah,
it's much better than the crowd now in San
You forgot to add a massive phony.
Francisco. But he was great in Golden State or in Oakland and hit that big shot. I'm stunned. I don't know if he was thinking too much or what, but I'm shocked that he let them get to him to the point where he played so poorly in Boston.
So I think the most important word in this question is biggest. Kyrie, the reason the Mavs lost? No. But of the reasons they lost, was he the biggest slice of the pie? That, I think, is
slice
fair.
is not over 50.
No, he's not over 50%. That's my point. I think the biggest reason they lost was you and I were wrong and Boston was better. You know what I mean? I think the biggest reason is even if Kyrie plays really well, it looks like Boston had a lot more answers.
They were a good matchup.
Right. But of the Mavs controllables, if you will, the biggest reason was Kyrie. I think that's fair. And the numbers are a little inflated as far as what he did, because Brew's right, the defense is the same home and road, except the defense wasn't the same quite in Game 4 when Boston clearly relaxed because it's human nature and that inflates that. But, yeah, I think there were a lot of factors. But this is where I'm going to take a slight turn. Over the last 5 years, the last 3 years in particular, a lot of the criticism of Kyrie, by myself and others, has been non-basketball, right? Even when he's playing really well, we have poked at the non-basketball. I think the fair flip of that is, even when he plays poorly, acknowledge, on this playoff run, and even in these finals, he has been a leader. He has showed to me a real maturity at the podium. Right. He has tried to keep the team calm. And I think he has done, in the past it was, man, this off-court stuff is pulling his play down. Now, the flip side of that is, I actually think he doesn't get quite as much vitriol for a really poor finals because the off-court stuff has lifted it up. Right. Because I think people were impressed by how he handled himself, how he handled all of it, and his thoughtful answers. So I will give him credit for that. But, yeah, it was a bad matchup, and I think they got in his head a little bit. The crowd did.
I mean,
and
he basically admitted
it. He said it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's unpack this a little bit because I'm going to do my victory lap. I said at the beginning of the playoff series, the playoffs in general, that the Mavs, I did not think they had any chance at winning. And I said the biggest reason why is because of Kyrie Irving's inability to face adversity and the type of player he is. I said that he's weak-minded and that he can't overcome adversity and he will shrink when the moment calls for it. And that he's a phony. He is. Everything he does is a phony. Even when he, helps people up or gives, shakes the hands and hugs the other players and congratulates them, It's like I read in a book that I'm supposed to be nice to other people, so I do it. Like, it's not actually inherent to him. He is a phony. That is who he is. You don't just magically change that over a year or two, when that was who he was his whole life. You don't just magically change. You just don't. Okay? That's not the way how the world works. It takes years and years and years and years of dedicated effort to change who you are. The other thing I said was that Luka is too immature. I said Luka is brilliant. I said Luka is amazing. I said he's great. He will probably retire as one of the greatest basketball players in NBA history, but he is immature and that will hold them back, and he's a bad leader. And that's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. Kyrie could not handle the Boston Celtics fans, okay? 14 points per game, under 3 assists, under 3 rebounds, under 6 assists. Field goal percentage, 34%, and 17.6%. That's exactly what I was saying. He can't handle it. And one of the references that I used was when he flipped off the Boston Celtics fan base when he went back there in playoffs. And he was like making like weird faces at them and like flipping them off in the middle of a playoff game when he was with Brooklyn. You don't just suddenly not be that person. So yeah, was he flipping them off and yelling at them? No. But he just shrunk and shattered. And Luka just continued to complain to the refs non-stop, forcing the Dallas Mavericks to play 5-on-4 defense. And so yes, were they able to beat the Clippers? Yes, the Clippers were old and injured and had a historical player in James Harden who has never been able to come up big in the playoffs. Congratulations. You then beat the youngest team in OKC. Congratulations. And then you beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, which I was impressed by, and I totally gave credit. And I even complimented Kyrie Irving and Luka, because Luka in that series matured. He stopped complaining, right? For at least like a few games finally. He stopped complaining. And Kyrie was showing leadership. And I gave credit where credit was deserved. But then, like anything, the truth comes out. Luka, reverted back to his immature self, carrying on. He was down by like 20 with like 8 minutes to go in this game, and Luka was yelling at the ref over a foul call. Like, bro, what are you doing? You're getting smoked right now, and you're arguing fouls. Like that's what you're doing. It's just hilarious. And again, Kyrie, literally admitted at the podium. He said the quiet part out loud that the fans are getting to me. I said that he was weak-minded, and you guys all got so upset that I said it. That I was letting my bias towards them, which is just not true. If I thought that Kyrie was really strong-willed and grew up and matured and this, that, and the third, then I would say that. I would say that. If I thought Luka was mature, right? It's not like I'm saying Luka's trash. I'm not saying Kyrie's trash. I think Kyrie's a great player. And so is Luka. But it takes more than that to win championships. That's a fact. And this is a perfect example. Not to mention, the Boston Celtics are just a better team. That's also the reality. The Boston Celtics were just a better team. And I hate when they say, oh, the Boston Celtics were a tough matchup for the Mavs. That implies that it was the matchup and not just the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics would have beaten any team. I originally thought the Minnesota Timberwolves could win it all. I was wrong about that. Now I'm not so sure, honestly. I really think it would have been the Boston Celtics would have beaten the Nuggets. They would have beaten the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Lakers, the Mavs, obviously, OKC, any of those teams. Not a doubt in my mind. The Sixers, the Knicks, whoever, no team this year was going to beat the Celtics in a 7-game series, especially with Porzingis being healthy. With Porzingis injured, that made it slightly questionable because Porzingis was like 18, 20-point game per game player. That is a big loss, and a rim protector, like and just also around the perimeter, like he's just disruptive on defense as well. Make no mistake about that. So with him being injured, then that's when people started to think like, oh, maybe the Celtics aren't that good. Look at them struggling with the Cavaliers or, whoever they were playing at the time. So it's just funny because Nick always has this category 1, 2, and 3 takes, right? 1, he's immediately right. 2, I think he's just wrong. And 3 is when he's right, but it takes time for it to reveal itself. I guess this was my category 3 take because I took a lot of heat from Dallas Mavericks fans. Everyone just yelling at me, telling me that my bias is getting in the way, that I just don't like Kyrie, or that my views of his off-the-court stuff is clouding on the court. And it's just not true because the things that he was doing, as Nick pointed out, were bringing away from his game. And it's one thing if he just had a political view that was just counter to maybe what I felt personally, right? Which can be quite possible. I'm not saying that's true or not. I'm just saying you're using this as a specific example. That doesn't inherently mean that affects your on-the-court play. But his specific views and the way how he specifically handles off-the-court stuff. So it's not so much his views per se, but how he handles them. That is an indicator to me that you are, as I said, a phony and a weak-minded person. Just look at his Twitter handle. Just look at how, the way he dresses, the way he talks. It's all phony. And you can't be a phony on the court. If you're a phony off the court, you're most likely going to be a phony on the court. If you're weak-minded off the court, you're most likely going to be weak-minded on the court. And it's not an opinion. This is literally proof. You can literally look at the record of home versus away. So you can't argue against it. We have concrete effects, and he admitted it. So if you don't want to take my word for it, take his word for it, where he admitted it. So when he did some of the other political type stuff, I didn't care. I didn't say that meant that he was going to be a bad player. Sure, it was a distraction, stuff like that's fine. But for me, the big flag was when he was not playing well and he lost, and they asked him a question at the press conference, and he brought up cobalt mining. That's when I was like, yep, I know exactly who Kyrie Irving is. He is a phony. He is a fake. He is weak-minded and just a small little dude. That's what it is. That stood out to me. Nothing to do with any of the other stuff. Nothing. But when I see that, I go, oh, that guy can't handle the heat. He can't handle the moment. He wants to deflect. He wants to talk about cobalt mining. Well, Kyrie, you've got paid hundreds of millions of dollars, bro. You have access to insane amounts of money, not just your own, but other mega wealthy people. You can start all these foundations. You can dedicate your entire life right now to just helping others. You've already made enough money. Go do that. Oh, he's not doing that? Oh, okay. Oh, is he just doing like the regular old, philanthropy that pretty much all the players do? Oh, okay, cool. Interesting. I thought this was so important to him that he had to bring it up in the middle, during press conferences of games. Come on, guys. Someone said something like inappropriate, not even towards him, but towards someone else, and he was like so taken back by it, he had to like sit out for a game or something. It's just nonsense. You can't fake it. The NBA, professional sports, the NBA, NFL, wherever, you can't fake it till you make it. Okay? You can't fake confidence as a doctor. You know what happens? People die. You can't fake it as a player on the court. You know why? Because you get 17% three-point shooting, 34% field goal percentage, and 14 points in the NBA Finals. That's what happens. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Kyrie Irving and his, shall we say, inability to perform in the NBA Finals? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. And but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it will really help with the haters, because I know a lot of Kyrie and Dallas Mavericks fanboys are going to come at me and hit the thumbs down. So please hit the thumbs up so we can balance that out a little bit. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and see you next time.